Hello, I'm David Groninger here in Seattle, Washington, and I enjoy finding messages that have value, particularly messages that discuss fundamentals of life, principles, basics, building blocks upon which success can be stably built. And when I think about the word principle, I think of the root meaning, which comes from the word primus, which means first or first cause. So I like to talk about fundamentals because it keeps life simple. If in every activity of life there are a few basic things, and if you have those things in place and continually build and strengthen those fundamentals, there are a whole bunch of other positive consequences that happen in that area of life. And when any of these fundamentals are missing, you could be running around doing hundreds of other things in an attempt to compensate for these missing pieces and still be falling behind or just barely making it even. On the other hand, when you have fundamentals in place, you've identified what these things are and you're building on them, boy, you could be leaving 100 things undone that are of lesser importance, and you could be building some great success. So in the manner that I speak, I'm not a great presenter or an entertainer. I don't have a lot of pizzazz or showmanship in the manner in which I give a talk. The purpose is education and inspiration. So you might have to be patient and really search for the content. I'm a person who's, when I'm looking for a message to give, I look for content, not something that just might be a fad for this time and place, but I look for content that has time-proven value. And sometimes these subjects and the way that they can be treated are sometimes a little bit more boring than a subject that is currently a fad in the area of success, motivation, self-improvement, self-empowerment, etc. So if you get a little bit bored, don't do so because of the manner that I present. Instead, look for the content, because when you find greater content that you can put into your life and get better success, believe me, you will not be bored. Well, the title for this talk, it's How to Get Your Needs Met. How to get your needs met. And particularly I'm going to speak about three key things. Number one, identify your needs. Number two, discover ways to get those needs met. And number three, manage both of these things. Manage the continual identification of these needs. As times change, certain needs will have a greater or lesser importance. And in discovering how they can be met, the best way to manage this is try to find the long-term, the long-lasting, the permanent source, the ongoing river or stream or ocean or the well or gold mine full of the support on your basic needs. In other words, don't just try to get a basic need filled once. Like if you need some money to buy food, don't just try to get a job so you can have money to buy food and then quit your job. Find work that you enjoy so that you can keep the job for a long time so you have an ongoing stream of money. So again, it's identify your needs, discover the way that works for you in getting your needs met, and manage both of these things. Be an active manager. Another little tidbit here is don't necessarily be too passive in letting other people identify what your needs are, or particularly attempt to hard sell you on their particular solution as far as how to get those needs met, particularly if they're telling you that their solution is the only way, and that if you don't go through them, or if you don't buy their idea or their product, or don't join their organization or their way of thinking, that you're never going to make it. Don't let people come between you and the ongoing stream or river of satisfying your need. So it's identify your needs, discover how you can get them met, and then manage these things as an ongoing thing. Now, I'm going to tell you a story called Hank and the Water Barrel. Hank and the Water Barrel. And here's how the story goes. It's in the Old West, about the year 1880, some small town in Nevada, and they're having a drought, but the rainy season is expected pretty soon, but they're having some hard times because some of their livestock is dying, and their little gardens are dying, and the people don't have water to drink or bathe, and it's just a drought. Well, Hank happens to come through the town with a wagon full of water barrels, maybe 10 large barrels full of water, and he lets people know that he knew there was a drought and that he has this water, and maybe he starts to sell it for maybe just 1 penny per gallon. So it's very inexpensive, and people really like this. They get it for their basic needs of drinking, bathing, feeding the animals that most need it, and although it's not a lot of water, it's not a very big town either, and it helps most of the people, at least for this emergency, at least for right now. Well, people are pretty happy with this. It's not much money to spend only 1 penny for a gallon of water, so he sells all the water, and people are happy with him, and he goes into the local restaurant or saloon, and they buy him a drink and buy him dinner out of gratitude for him coming to town and selling the water so cheap, and having the water to begin with, because they don't know where the water is. Well, while he's sitting there eating dinner, he tells the people, why don't we do this? Tomorrow, it's a two-day trip to get to the water. Anybody who wants to come with me, load up your wagons full of barrels and just come along with me. I'll show you where the stream of water is. And maybe it's a very difficult to find stream because it's mainly underground, and there's only like about 5 or 10 feet that happen to be above ground, and maybe it was even in a little cave somewhere that was all covered up by other rocks or bushes or something. So it was not an easy thing to find, but he happened to have found it, and he's going to take them. So they're very happy about that. You see, he's going to take them to the source of their need for water. He's not just going to continually sell them water and not tell them where the source is. He's telling them where the source is. He's going to take them to it. So the next day, they load up their wagons. They follow him there. Takes them 2 days to get there, 2 days to get back. And the people that went along with him are so grateful that he was not a greedy person, and that helped them find the water. And now their need is met permanently, because now whenever there's a drought, they know where they can continually get water. Well, out of gratitude, they tell Hank, look, how about you sell all of your water first, and after you're through selling yours, then we'll sell ours, and what we don't sell we'll keep for our needs, or do trade or give away or whatever. But because we respect the fact that you showed us where the source is, we're going to let you sell all yours. So he sells us water, the other people sell the water, everybody's happy, and they decide to go even again the next day, and again the same thing. They bring plenty of water back, people are happy, the animals are living, they're drinking water, they're bathing, and sure enough, in about another 3 or 4 weeks, the rainy season happens, they get the water that they were expecting, but they're very grateful to Hank, because he was not a selfish person, and yet he still made out okay. So he made good friends in the town, it was goodwill, he recognized that there was life in this town that needed something, that had a need in order to sustain and strengthen the life. And water was that need. He happened to know it, and he happened to either find or learn where this stream was, and he was very happy to tell people where the source of the stream was. Well, what if, for example, there was some other town, same situation, they're having a drought, small town, and some guy named Jesse happens to come through the town, again with a wagon full of barrels, and what if he says, look, this is very special water, I had to pay $1 a gallon for it, and the guy doesn't have any more, and this is the end of it, and who knows when the rainy season's going to happen. I hear it might not happen for months, whatever. So he creates a scarcity and maybe a panic based on untruthful information. Well, somehow he gets all of his water sold at $1 a gallon, makes out like a bandit. And although people don't want to spend the money, at least they live. At least their animals live, so they're grateful. So he leaves the next day, going out of town the different way he came in, but then he backs around when they're not looking, or when he's further away, goes back to the same stream, comes back a couple days later, and he says, well, you know what? I found another guy that had water, but this is the last that he had, and I had to pay $2 a gallon for this, so now he charges 2 gallons, and people don't feel very good about it, but they have to pay because they need the water. And then he does this the third time. He sneaks around, they think he's leaving, but he comes around the third time and says, you know what, you're not going to believe this, but it turned out that that guy really had, you know, some more water. But this is the end of it, but I had to pay, you know, $3 a gallon, you know, for this. Well, by this time, the wisest people of the town would probably start sensing that something's up on this and thinking, you know, why are we so dependent upon this guy Jesse in order to get a basic need satisfied? And this is very important to us, to get this need satisfied. Somehow we feel like he's not giving us a good deal. So they have one of the guys follow him secretly when he leaves the next day, and sure enough they find that he's backtracking around the town, going back to where the water is. So the guy comes back to the town and tells the people, hey, look, I know where the water is now. So they load up their wagons and barrels and they find the water. And so they're able to get their needs met because they're able to discover the source of this water. However, the relationship between Jesse and the people of the town is not very good. They might kick him out of town. They might invite him to play poker with all the money that he made selling them expensive water, and then cheating at poker to take all the money back. Or who knows, he might get shot in the back in the middle of the night, or knifed, or who knows what might happen. They might not ever see him again. Or maybe they'll just drive him out of town or don't do business with him, who knows what. But the idea is that in the first example, the relationship between Hank and the people of the town was outstanding. Because Hank recognized life. He recognized that there was a need to sustain and to support and to help make this life thrive. And he helped that need get satisfied in a big way immediately. He did not delay at all in letting these people know, hey, look, thanks for buying this water. Let's all go. You can have all that you want. And he didn't charge them very much, even to begin with. So the relationship was very good. They liked him. Maybe they would help him become a farmer in the town. They would help him get a job because of the goodwill. He helped life, so now life is going to help him. But in the other example, Jesse took advantage of the people a little bit, and by coming back all those different times and only with one wagon full of water, you know, it may have caused some of the animals and crops to die just a little bit, and so he actually decreased life, and consequently life did not like him very much. That is, the life of the town. So think about these two examples. When it comes to you getting your needs met, you want to identify your needs. You want to find the source for where you can have a replenishing, ongoing supply for your needs. And whenever somebody comes up to you and tries to sell you on a need that maybe is not really a need, and furthermore, or maybe identifies your need, but tries to tell you there's only one place you can get it, like, you know, this is the only water left, or something like this, and it's very, very expensive, and all the other ways of doing it don't work, so you better buy this or else. When people are spreading scarcity, fear, and panic, and basically unhappiness with regards to your capacity to get a need met, I would raise your awareness a little bit and be more determined to go around that person and somehow find a better way to find a stream of supply for that need. So again, I'm going to review the basics of this talk, and the talk was called How to Get Your Needs Met, and the basic story was Hank and the water barrel, and he helped the people get their needs met by taking them to the source of how they can get their needs met on an ongoing kind of way. So it's identify your needs, and discover a way to get your needs met. And as we're all individuals, your particular route or manner in which your needs are met may be different than others. So not every how-to kind of a book like How to Be Happy, How to Be Successful, not everything will apply literally to you. You'll have to look through these ideas in these books and then find the ones that fit you, kind of like trying on a pair of clothing. So again, you want to identify your needs, discover a way to get your needs met, and not just get them met once. Find a way that is literally an ongoing, a lifetime supply of getting needs met. This might be in the area of skills, might be in the area of having an abundant consciousness. And certainly good people skills are related here, because the better you can get along with people, the more you can negotiate getting your needs met, and the more you can negotiate accurately helping other people get their needs met, so that you're not charging too much, so that they're happy to do business with you. And the idea of wholesale and retail can certainly exist in our land, because not everybody could go with Hank to get the water. Some people didn't have wagons, some people didn't have barrels, some people couldn't take the 2-day trip there. So there's always a use for someone who can supply a need for you. But don't be too dependent on someone who's asking too much of a sacrifice on your part, when you might be able to get that need met in a much more of a direct kind of a way. So this has been the talk of how to get your needs met, and I want to thank you very much for listening. This is David Groninger in Seattle saying thank you.